It's legendary beats.
A video about being a black hijabi. Now, the misconception that everything is peaches and cream, you know who would really have that misconception? Thoughts. Let me collect my thoughts. I like to be a hijabi, you know, be a Muslim, be a black hijabi.
A lot of the misconceptions that, you know, people have, I guess they're not necessarily misconceptions, rather like,
I wanted to do a video about being a black hijabi. Now, the not misconceptions, they're just things that, you know, we're kind of the minority of the Muslim world. Hijabi is not, I would say it's not the same type of experience that other hijabis in the Muslim world. I think that black women, I think that black women around the world are the minorities. We're even treated kind of harshly by our own men, so to think that the world would be accepting us for who we are is kind of up to.
Being a black hijabi is, I would say, it's a struggle. It's being a black woman is a struggle. Trying to explain your experience to other people is a struggle, and trying to be accepted by the Muslim collective is a struggle. You know, we have to always kind of explain our experience and try to make other people understand our experience.
It's kind of like hard to explain to people why this is such an important topic. I think that black women in the Muslim world get left out of the conversation a lot of times because really people don't really identify with our struggle. You know, you have a lot of Arabs and, you know, obviously in the Muslim community you have a lot of non-black POC involved, and some of the struggles of being a black hijabi are, you know, everybody thinking that you're a convert, thinking that you don't have a historical context or lineage attached to being a Muslim. And it's like, if you look in the Quran, we obviously have like Bilal. We obviously like have Bilal, which is like one of the first African-American, which is one of the first Muslims to be involved with, it was one of the first black men to be involved with Islam. But we have other examples as well, you know. You know, another misconception would be, and some of the hardships definitely are, you know, marriage. Marriage is like a huge thing in the black community because 50% of black women are unmarried. So if you're going into a religion, converted or non-converted, you know, into a religion, and you're thinking maybe the odds are a little bit more in your favor just because you're thinking that as a collective the people are, you know, non-discriminatory, not racist, you know. And a lot of times Muslims, not Islam, to reiterate, can be have an anti-black sentiment attached to them. You know, they don't want to bring black people home, black women home. And I was talking to a friend recently and they were saying, you know, well, I think black men have it hard too. But what I find with black women versus black men with the marriage market in Islam is that black men tend to be in a rush to deviate, or not deviate, but kind of get away from black women when they become Muslim or are Muslim, because there's essentially, and this is not, you know, not politically correct, and a lot of things on my channel will not be politically correct, but black men tend to rush towards non-black women. It's just that is in the community itself. So going into the Islam, into the Muslim marriage market, you have a smorgasbord of women who are non-black POC, white, you know, and that is the first. It's kind of like, essentially with my experience, it has been that Muslim men are the first to kind of like jump ship in terms of like the racial marriage market. Black women, you know, they you know, at least try to marry African-American men, and it's hard, you know. People, you know, non-black men are not really checking for you because it's the hardship of trying to persuade their mothers to kind of think that you're worth it, you know what I'm saying. And sometimes non-black people can be more racist, inherently racist than white people. So it's kind of like a struggle, you know what I'm saying? So the marriage market is kind of gloomy. You find yourself at 30 not really married, not really finding anybody, because the marriage market sucks for black men. Yeah, I would say so, but I would say it's a different type of, not even a different type of struggle, but the odds are just different. Black hijabis just have a really hard time getting married. And even with like African men as well, like you think, you know, maybe it's hard, and because, you know, Africans a lot of times carry anti-black sentiment as well. So you think that somebody who looks like you is going to be okay with the fact that, you know, you're black and, you know, you're trying to get married, and it's like, nah, son, he's not checking for you either. So it's a little bit hard in that regard. I would say, being a black hijabi, sometimes this is like a non-struggle, but like being an African-American hijabi Muslim woman, you know, there's a lot of people, like even on YouTube, you're trying to find role models, because like essentially people need role models, right? And so like there's not a lot of people who look like you, which is one of the reasons that I'm kind of doing this, because there's not a lot of people who look like me on YouTube who are just like straight up just like African-American. You know, I'm of a Caribbean descent, but I identify as black, and that's it, you know what I'm saying? Like there's not a lot of people. There's a lot of Arab girls, there's a lot of non-black POC, and so it's kind of hard to sometimes relate to that. So that's a little bit hard, you know. And women just making friends and like being a part of a collective, you feel once you're inside of the religion, you know, you feel like it's going to be like more family oriented, more homey, like, you know, you're going to be welcomed with open arms. And I was born Muslim, and I think that's a huge misconception, only because a lot of times I've heard a lot of black people becoming, you know, Muslim, or, you know, just being Muslim all their lives, and having, again, a lot of anti-black sentiment, or just like people not really understanding you, so they don't want to approach you. You know, there, you know, especially where I live, there's a lot of collectives, little collectives around the city. You know, you got Arabs here, Bangladeshi, Indian, Pakistani, Malaysian, all types of various Asians, whatever. And, you know, the black collective is like sprinkled, and we're close knit because we have to be, essentially. But like the, you know, Arabs tend to stick with their people, and like Indians and vice versa, like nobody's really mixing. And I'm not saying that in terms of marriage, I'm just saying like in terms of period, like people are really prone to not mixing. So it kind of makes it a little bit hard. You know, and of course you want to have friends who, you know, believe like you, look like you, think like you. You know, that reinforces your Islam, but, you know, again, like it's very, very hard. You know, just like trying to make friends and things like that, I would say.
Oh my darling, oh my darling, baby Jofa, you know I be loving you all gone.
I feel like people are like looking at me through my window, which is weird. So
anyways, those are some of the struggles that black hijabis have, black Muslim women have, period. I don't know why I keep saying hijabi. If you did like this video, please like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. I know it's a while I haven't been making videos, I haven't been consistent, but I broke my camera, so I got rid of that. I got a new one. It's working fabulously. So yeah, if you have any requests, reader requests, please hit me up on one of my social media platforms. I'm happy to do it. I'm not only going to be talking about the serious things, but some fun, playful things as well. And I just want to represent for black Muslimas on the YouTube market, because there's not a lot of them. You know, we have a lot of I think there's room for everybody, and I think there needs to be representation, especially with the black renaissance that's happening in the country. As an American, you know, black people are kind of becoming curious about themselves, aware about themselves, and woke, you know what I'm saying? I'm going to go see Black Panther, eyes big. So again, please like, comment, and subscribe. Comment, subscribe, please. Tell your man. Take little man. All of them. Hit like this little fat pocket right here. No, I don't like it. Alright, bye. I'm sorry.